Morning. My hair clip's a bit high today. I keep banging it on the roof. Anyhow, another van log vlog. And today, I think I'm going to talk about what's for dinner. So, literally, every single day, almost without fail, we have a what's for dinner conversation. And it's mind-blowing to me that we've been married now for nearly 25 years. We've obviously eaten dinner every day, and most of those dinners we've eaten them together. So we must have eaten thousands of dinners. How many? Like 365 days in a year, so that's 35,000 in 10 years. That's 70,000 in 20 years. So that's like, we must have had 80,000 dinners. Am I maths right there? Maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, maths not my strong point. Neither is dinners. So we've had a lot of dinners, and every day we have this conversation. What's for dinner? Now, we're not vegetarian, so we do have all the meat options available to us. But the problem for me is that dinners fit into two categories. So it's either a wine meal or it's not a wine meal. And for me, a wine meal is something to avoid when you're trying to avoid drinking wine, which I'm trying to avoid drinking wine today, because I avoided it yesterday and it was very good, and we had salmon and broccoli for dinner, which is not a wine meal in my opinion. Anything that's fish isn't a wine meal. So thank you very much for letting me out. So fish is a safe non-wine meal. However, fish isn't the favourite for everybody in our house, although Richard would say ugh, and then he would at the end of the meal go, that was really nice actually. So maybe we'll have fish tonight. But so a wine meal for me is anything that's red meat. So anything like steak or chili is a wine meal. Meatballs is virgin on a wine meal, nearly, especially if it has like a sauce, a nice tomatoey sauce. So meatballs. However, if I had pork meatballs, I don't think that would be quite as winey, and if I had chicken meatballs, definitely not. So maybe chicken meatballs with courgette tonight. But so another wine meal would be curry. So I could have a chicken salad and not need to have a wine meal. But if I have a chicken curry is definitely a wine meal. Curry for me, with whatever is in it, is definitely a wine meal, so we can't have curry tonight. Other examples of non-wine meals are salad. However, Elizabeth's not all that keen on salad, because if you have cold meats and stuff like that, then she doesn't really like that, unless it's chicken, and then that's just chicken salad, which is a bit boring because we keep having chicken salad. And then the other issues that we've got at the moment is Richard's counting calories and I am doing keto. So, and Elizabeth is a bit fussy, but she isn't counting calories and isn't doing keto. So she likes something that is like chicken tenders or spaghetti bolognese, but then you see I can't eat pasta, so that puts us a little bit of a problem. But then probably Richard wouldn't eat pasta, so then Elizabeth's the problem. So if I'm doing keto, I can't have carbs, and so that cuts out potatoes, pasta, anything that's got like high in carbs. Bread, can't have bread. But then I can have cream and cheese and butter. But Richard is low calorie, so he can't have cream and cheese and butter. So whatever gets created has to be created as a low carb, low calorie meal, which then doesn't suit Elizabeth. So we have a little dilemma. and it's so that everybody's happy, because we do like to sit together, we do like to sit down as a family. We've always done it, no phones at the table mostly, and have a proper nice sit together and talk about our various days, and it's just good. And I think it's really important, apart from on a Friday or a Saturday when we don't sit at the table, because you don't sit at the table on a Friday and Saturday, or unless you're going out for a meal. So if we went out for a meal, or if somebody came round, then we would probably sit at the table. So there's all these different factors that go into trying to decide what we're going to have for dinner, and that's why it becomes so complicated, because we've had some lovely things, chicken leek and cheesy mashed potato pie, and we've had Jamie Oliver's scallops with crushed potatoes and peas. That's a black pudding, that's really nice, although that wouldn't be any good for Richard, and it wouldn't be really any good for me either, because I can't eat potatoes and he can't eat black pudding on a low calorie diet. So I'm thinking, after having talked to myself all about this, nearly all the way to Asda, my thoughts are chicken meatballs in a tomatoey sauce with courgette for me and Richard, because then that's low carb, no cow, and spaghetti for Elizabeth, because then that satisfies her pasta needs, and also everybody likes a tomato sauce, and it's suitable. So yes, so now you've got to the end of this video and you know what we're having for dinner. We're having chicken meatballs with tomato based sauce and courgette, which is not a wine meal in my opinion, and that will keep me safe from drinking wine. So here I am at Asda now, and I have been very productive by deciding what we're having for dinner. See you soon.